Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Brandon, and back on my channel. I haven't came out with a vlog in a while, so I apologize for that. I've been really busy with photo shoots, events, weddings and everything, so I do apologize for that. I'll try to get back more into the vlogs. I know you guys have had a ton of questions on my social media channels and my Instagram, and I'm gonna try to cover some of those questions now, but some of the more, I would guess, recent, or some of the more questions that I'm getting, the more consistent messages. A lot of people are asking about starting off as a photographer, what should they buy, what kind of lenses, what kind of body, and I mean those are open-end questions kinda, so I'll try to get out in on that. But I guess today in this vlog I kinda just wanted to give you guys my take on, you know, starting off as a photographer. When I got started, it's really hard getting started in this business. I mean, this photography is a dog-eat-dog world, you know, and you guys know I always keep it real with you guys. And to tell you the truth, it's really hard in this business because everybody's trying to become a photographer, or everybody's trying to be a photographer. Everybody is a professional photographer when they don't really know the basics of photography. And those basics are, you know, your lighting, your composition, your posing, your, you know, knowing your equipment, off-camera flash, and just all kind of different elements that goes into photography. When I started off as a photographer, I didn't know pretty much anything. I know I had the drive, and I know photography excited me. When I picked up a camera, I just had that. I wanted to take pictures. I wanted to capture something. So if you have, first of all, if you have that drive and you have that element about you, then you can be a photographer. But you have to have that. Everywhere I went, I took my camera. Everywhere I go, I have my camera. And it just became just second nature to me when I started off in photography. So I think one of the hardest things when I first started off was I contacted so many photographers. Let me get up close and more personal with you guys. So I contacted so many photographers on social media, on YouTube, sent them messages, hey, what is this, or hey, can you tell me a little bit about this, or can I send you some of my pictures so you can critique them for me, tell me what I'm doing wrong, tell me what I should change. And it was so hard because everybody's so, I guess, out there now. Nobody wanted to take the time to actually help you, and it was really hard. And a lot of things that I did, I kind of like self-taught myself. Now, even though I know what I'm doing now, and even though I'm more of a renowned photographer, I still contact some of my friends about, you know, lenses and bodies. I got a really good friend, you know, Chris, who's up in New Jersey. I got Mike Smith, who's a really good friend of mine, and we talk a lot and joke and play around, and we still have that type of relationship. But I think it's more, a lot of people will say, yes, it's supposed to be the community over competition. I do believe that to a certain extent, but it's really hard because some people just don't want to take that time out. So I would say to you, if you're getting started as a photographer, one thing I would tell you to do is research, look up videos, look up social media stuff, Google some things depending on what you're looking at. But it's really hard, you know. And like I said, photography is one of those jobs where you're in competition with everybody around you. You know, everybody's trying to get their business out there. Everybody's trying to get the big bucks, trying to hit the weddings, trying to hit the events. And you have to make sure that your photography stands apart from everybody else's, okay? What makes your photography different than the next person? How much do you know about photography? How much do you know about flash and how flash behaves? Off-camera flash, on-camera flash. How much do you know about editing? How much do you know about Photoshop and Lightroom? How much do you use those other techniques? You know, those are all type of things that make you well-rounded as a photographer. And if you don't know those things, it's really gonna be hard if you're trying to make this a profession. Because like I said, that's the biggest thing about photography. Your photography has to stand out from everybody else's. You have to know about your equipment. You have to know about your depth of field. You have to know about shutter speed and ISO and aperture, and everything about your camera has to just be second nature. And you have to know it. So start getting out there and start knowing your equipment. Start getting into your equipment. And as you know, in all my videos, I'll tell you, learn your equipment, because when you learn your equipment, the sky is the limit. And that's one of the models that I do live by. Knowing your equipment down to the in every way on how it operates. Every way how it operates. So that's pretty much my take on getting started in photography. I didn't want to really waste too much time, but I got a lot of questions about starting off and what I did to start off. And that's basically it. I watched I watched hours and countless hours of YouTube videos and how other people were doing things. I learned a lot about flash, what type of flash I should get. I didn't want to just be a point and shoot photographer. Natural light is okay. Some people do really good in natural light, but sometimes I want my photography to just be different. I want that pop. I don't want everything to be all moody and just kind of like a dull scene. I wanted some excitement. So it's really about what you make it. So but that's my rant for this week on this vlog. It's getting started as a photographer, man. Getting out there and learning and sending messages. If you don't get any responses back, keep trying. You guys always know that you can contact me. I try to answer everybody. I see all of you guys' messages, whether it's on my Instagram or my Facebook or even on my YouTube, and you guys should know that, because I answer all your questions. Might not be the same day. All of them I try to answer in the same day. As soon as I get the comment, I try to answer it. But other than that, hey, hit me on my Instagram. I'm always there, www.instagram.com/BrandonCophotography, or hit me on my Facebook. Facebook is www.facebook.com/BrandonCophotography, or leave me a message here. So I'm going to get into some of the questions. I don't want to take you guys too much time. I wrote them down because I had so many of them, but I'm not going to go through all of them. So let's just go through some comments and some questions. So the first one, hey Brandon, I love your videos. You're always giving us information and showing us how to do things in your videos. Please keep up the good work, and we love to see more videos from you. And this is Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys in my videos. As you know, I try to always show you guys exactly what I'm doing in my videos, try to show you how I get the shot, try to show you a little bit about the composition and lighting, and I try to do that in all my videos. I think one of the most common questions, and you guys will know this, one of the most absolute common questions in photography is, especially outdoor photography or on location photography that we do, they always ask, when you have a light source and a softbox and a light setup, how far away do you position your light from your model? And that is a really tricky question, because it depends on the type of look that you're trying to get. Mostly I'll always position my light about 2 to 3 feet away, about a foot above my model, looking down, because you have to understand the inverse square law. If your light is positioned too far away, when light comes out, it starts to lose its power as it travels. Alright, so the further that it travels, the less light that you're going to have hitting your model. So you have to make sure that your light is set up perfectly with the amount of power that you want in order to get the shot that you want. Because if you position it too far away, by the time it travels and hits your model, you're going to lose the amount of power that you think you're setting your power on your trigger. So you guys have to understand that when you're messing with light. Another question. When I'm dealing with lighting, what type of lighting sources should I use? I'm starting to get into off-camera flash, and I'm thinking about getting my first light. Thinking about getting your first light, off-camera flash. Well, a lot of people will tell you to start with just a speed light. You should just start with a speed light, and hey, the crows are crowing. You should get a speed light, and that should be you should get started with that. Me personally, I would say you probably want to get something a little bit more powerful than a speed light, because the problem is, once you learn that speed light, unless you buy like 3 or 4 of them, when you learn that speed light and you actually start to get into it, you're going to want more power. I wouldn't tell you to start with like something like a 600 if you're just now getting into off-camera flash, because it's going to be too much for you, and it is going to take you a lot longer to learn it. Now, that's kind of an open-end question. You can get a 600 and then learn it as you go up, and then once you learn it really good, then you'll have that extra power. I would also tell you to look into getting something like the Evolve or the 8200. The 8200 or 200 watt light is a really good light. It's about 3 or 4 speed lights in the one, depending on the kind of speed light that you get. But it's about 3 speed lights combined into one, and it has really good power, and it's very portable. And it's like I said, it's 200 watts of power. So it depends on when you shoot it. Now, in the daytime, in really harsh light, the way you position your model in the shadows, you can still get really good lighting out of it, even in daytime harsh light. But if you're really looking for a difference in lighting, you're going to have to get something with a little bit more power. So I will probably say to get something and then learn it over time. That way you don't really have to invest in another one. So probably the 600 would be better, but if your money does not match it, I will probably go ahead and sell it with the 8200 or 200 watt power source. Yeah. I'm getting into photography now, and I'm looking for my first body. Should I go Sony? Should I go Canon? What type of body should I get? I understand that there are full frame cameras and crop sensor cameras. What do you recommend? Thank you for your response. Your videos are amazing. I'm not going to play the camera war, whether you should go Sony or you should go Canon. As you guys know, I've been shot Canon for a very long time. My last camera was the 5D Mark IV, their latest and greatest, and I used Canon for a long time. The reason why I switched was because I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed as a photographer out of Canon, so I made the switch to Sony. And ever since I switched Sony, I've absolutely loved it. I was one of those ones who was really on the fence about whether I should switch or not. So it depends on the type of photography that you do. If you're already used to the cameras, the Canon system, and you are just looking for a different body or something to really give you a pop in your photography, then I would say stay Canon. But without actually knowing what you shoot, I really can't make that recommendation to you, because there are things with the Sony system that will absolutely help you as a photographer that Canon does not have, like the electronic viewfinder or the eye autofocus or even manual focus assist. All these different things that are inside of the Sony system are absolutely amazing for portrait photographers. That's something that I live by every day now. So it depends on what you shoot. If you're just a landscaper, then I mean, it's not really any need for those type of features. So like I said, it really just depends on what you shoot. Now, full frame or crop sensor. If you're sticking to Sony, if you're sticking to Canon, it really just depends. Canon has some really good crop sensor cameras, like the 80D. The 80D is probably one of their best, probably one of the best crop sensor cameras on the market to this day. I absolutely love the 80D. So it really just depends. But I would probably say, make the investment. Too many times people buy cameras and they get something like an older camera and then hey, I'm ready to upgrade, and they're just like wasting money. My biggest thing with me, I would always say make the investment and learn it, and that way you don't have to get anything for another few years. That I always say that. So I would definitely say probably go with the full frame, but as you know, full frame is just a little bit more expensive than crop sensors. So it really just depends on your budget. If you have the budget, go full frame. And learn that system. With full frame, your sensor is bigger, and the full frame brings in more light. Full frame, you're able to capture more in the frame because it is a full frame sensor. So there's a lot of differences between full frame and crop sensors. But can you get the same pictures with a crop sensor as you can with the full frame? Absolutely. You absolutely can, because with me, I've seen a crop sensor and a full frame together, same picture. Unless you saw those pictures together, you would not know one was full frame and you would not know one was crop sensor. That's the honest truth. So if anybody tells you anything different, then they're lying. But I would definitely say probably go ahead and go with the full frame and make the investment and learn that investment. So zoom lenses or prime lenses? Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, let me read the whole question. Should I get a zoom lens or a prime lens? I'm starting off in photography. I forgot my body. I do have a full frame body, and I'm looking to get my first lens. What should I go with, zoom lenses or prime lenses, and why? Thank you for your advice. Love your pictures and your social media pages. Thank you. So Zoom or prime lenses? This question has been out there for, I don't know, for ages. Zoom lenses or prime lenses? A lot of people will tell you that prime lenses are more sharper at their WOA, or their widest aperture, widest open aperture. If you're getting started off and you don't really have a lens, I would say go with the zoom lens. I would. I'm not going to get into all the details about why, but starting off in photography, I think it's better for you to get a zoom lens because you have variable ranges, and being stuck at one focal length when you're just now starting off, I don't think that's the answer. I don't think that's really going to help you as a starting off photographer. I would say invest in a really good prime lens. I'm sorry, a really good zoom lens, whether that be a 24, probably a 24 to 70 would be your best. That would probably be the best lens to pick up as a starting off photographer, because it gives you a really good wide angle, and it also gives you a really nice portrait feel. The 24 to 70, probably a 2.8 if you can afford it. If not, go with an f4. But that's probably the best lens to start off with, and it's really sharp. I'm not going to tell you what type of manufacturer to go with. It depends on whatever you shoot, but whatever you shoot, whether you're Nikon, Fuji, Sony, Canon, don't matter. Go with the 24 to 70 2.8 if you're looking into investing your first piece of glass, because glass is what matters. Glass is what's going to get you those type of shots that you want. So I would definitely say your first lens should be a 24 to 70. Once you learn those variable focal lengths and telephoto lenses and how it performs, what distances you like to shoot at, what distances you feel like you shoot at more, then I would probably looking to start getting into primes. But it really just depends on you, and depends on your money. So that's it.